New Artist Spotlight Podcast.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to the New Artist Spotlight Podcast. I'm your host, Origin Crxss, and I just want to thank everybody for tuning in. If you listened before, you know what we're here to do. We're here to interview some of the best, freshest artists from the New Artist Spotlight family of playlists. And today we have a guest that I am very excited to have on. Let me introduce to you guys Mr. Kyle M Watson. What's up?
Hey, what's going on? How's it going? How you been?
Man, I've been good.
Good.
Yeah, man, you?
Can't complain. Just keeping busy, trying to stay out of trouble.
Sir, I feel it, or you could complain, but what would that solve?
Nothing.
Yeah, we done this one time before. We're gonna do it right this time, better this time. So, Andres, sorry, community, sorry, because this was definitely a dope interview. One of my favorites. So, a little backstory on how this even got set up in the first place, right? So,
Yeah.
Wilko and I were out of guests basically for people that we kind of already had lined up, and we were thinking like, all right, who else can we get on the show? Who else would be good? And I'm like, I really want some people that are like, I really like their music. And with our list being so big, it's kind of hard to hear everything that's on there, right? So I said, you know what, I'm gonna look at the Apple Music playlist, and because it's shorter. And so I took a listen to it. I went through, and it's pretty much criminal. But at the bottom of that list, I came across an artist named Kyle M Watson, who admittedly I had not heard of before. And I don't know why you're at the bottom of that list, because like, why did I have to wait that long to find you, right? Ended up finding exactly. So I ended up finding like a few artists. I came up with a top 5, number 1 right here, and I sent them to Wilko, like, get these people on the show. The guest that you seen last week was on that list. Top pick right here for me personally. We got some other ones we got to reach out and get on. And yeah, I mean, before that, we had followed each other on TikTok.
Yeah.
You followed me, and we had the New Artist Spotlight artists in common, and followed back, and we were like interacting under each other's posts and things like that.
Yeah. Right. Yeah.
Yeah. And I'm like, I don't know who this guy is, but I know he's a part of the New Artist Spotlight. So
Right.
I'll follow him.
Why not? Yeah. Because it's like everyone's telling me, oh, you got to get on TikTok. You know, if you want to get your music out there, try the whole TikTok thing. Like, I've been struggling with this whole social media thing because the whole thing is kind of new to me. And I know that it's important because everyone that we know that's big either made it through being discovered on TikTok or some sort of social media. So I was like, okay, well, let me give it a shot. And I know some of the folks that I already followed were on new artist spotlight. So they just suggested a whole bunch of people, and I'm like, okay, this name sounds familiar. That name sounds familiar, and I just start clicking, and I'm like, okay, let me try to interact, because we're trying to do this whole artist thing and having a 9-to-5. Sometimes it's hard to do the social content thing, so it's like you gotta, and I'm still trying to figure it out, trying to find time to come up with content to post. I haven't actually posted in a long time because I don't know if it's like the creativity is just not there. I've just been posting like generic stuff. Like, I had a single that just came out, so I've just been posting that and hoping that it does something. But I've been really trying to keep up on this new wave of entertainment and this new wave of connecting with potential fans and stuff like that. But yeah, as far as why my music is where it is, I have no idea. I don't know, but I joined, I want to say a few months ago. So, I still consider myself fairly new, but from what I've seen so far, it's been a really good atmosphere overall. everyone that I've interacted with, whether it be TikTok, Twitter, or Instagram, has been really supportive. And it's really hard, even in this day and age, to find a group of people that are actually genuine enough, sorry, to actually like give feedback, give positive feedback, be encouraging. So far, I'm feeling you guys over at New Artist Spotlight. You know,
Hey,
y'all are not too
appreciate it.
bad, not too bad, not too bad. Yeah.
Yes, sir. We come back to that, but first off, let's talk about, for anybody who isn't familiar with your music, who are you? How did you get started? What kind of music do you make? Give us a introduction
Yeah.
to you as an artist.
Yeah. Well, my name is Kyle M Watson. I put the M there because coming to find out there's like 1,000,001 Kyle Watsons out there. So I had to stick the M in there to make sure I differentiate myself from all the others. And it seems all of them are doing music as well. I'm originally from Barbados, born and raised. I've been singing from, I want to say, the age of 11. And I was singing in church primarily. And as far as my music, I consider myself an R&B artist. And my first recording project was late to 2019 into the early 2000s, early 2020, because that's when my first single was actually released. And it was called It's You. It was my first project. I've been talking about it for years, talking about it with coworkers and friends, and saying, I want to record something. And I've been always kind of nervous about doing it because it was something that I've never done before. I'm accustomed singing in choirs and singing in that kind of setting, but to actually step in a booth, have all these equipment around you and recording stuff, it's a different atmosphere, especially seeing as you're doing all the background vocals and everything yourself. It was very intimidating at first, but I linked up with some cool people at the studio called Stronger Bond, and they were really supportive of me as well. And they kind of walked me through everything, seeing it was my first time, telling me, hey, look, a lot of people that come in, they make the big mistake of being too set in what they want, which could be a good thing. It's because it's good coming in knowing what you want, what you want to get out of this. But as far as the creative process is concerned, it might change, so they were kind enough to kind of give me that heads up so that when I get started, I don't get frustrated. So with that being said, I went in, I finished some of the song actually as I was in the studio, and It's You was created. It was my first. It's a holiday love song, and it was one of my proudest moments, I should say, because it was my very first project. It was an eye opener for me because after completing that, I was like, wow. It was intimidating in the sense that I felt like if I set the bar high for myself, because it's like, okay, so what do I do next? Because I wasn't expecting, not to say that I'm like bad, but I really honestly wasn't expecting this first attempt to be this good. If that makes sense. It's like,
No, that makes a lot of sense.
I was like, okay, this might be something that's possible for me, especially coming from a place where you didn't really feel it was possible.
Mm-hmm.
And it was just a thought. All of this was just a thought, a dream, a daydream, whatever have you. And had I not made that first step, because a lot of us we got a lot of potential, but we just sit on it, worrying about the what ifs and stuff like that.
Yeah,
and
what if it doesn't come out right? What if it's not what I want it to be? What if it doesn't go where I want it to go?
Right.
Yeah,
You get trapped in the what ifs, and the what ifs actually stop you from doing it. So had one last conversation. I was like, you know what? What's the worst that can happen? It sounds bad? Okay. Even if it sounds like trash, it's fine. So that was a good experience for me. And it kind of led me on a path. I was like, okay, I think I can pursue music or at least do something that I love. It's creative. And as you're on this journey of creativity, you're going to come into contact with other creatives, and then you just build from there.
Yeah, definitely. I feel what you're saying. So with the issue, that was your first song. It came out really, really good. And I don't think you've disappointed since that one. But one interesting thing that you do have is you have like a dance remix of It's You.
I did. Yeah, I did.
How did that come about?
I was okay. So this was so random. I was sitting at work, and it was around that time where it was like, okay, so I released It's You. I've been trying to promote the original, but at that time, it's almost like the creative writing had kind of gone cold. So it was at that point now I'm trying to scramble to try to figure out what's the next thing. So I was like, I feel like doing something with It's You would buy me that time, because I wasn't able to, for whatever reason, write anything creatively. I was still kind of fresh in the game as far as writing and coming up with ideas. So I was like, you know what? I've heard a lot of R&B songs back in the day with these dance remix. May it be Deborah Cox, How Did You Get Here? I don't know how many Whitney Houston songs they took and turned into to dance mixes, right? But it's like I've seen and I've heard that done before. So I was like, you know what? That would be a good idea. That would be a good idea. So I just reached out and said, hey, what if we did a dance mix to this? And again, something that I wasn't really sure about, but I decided just to go for it. It turned out really well. Not only that, a lot of people were really excited about how the whole thing makes it such a different song altogether, right? Because you have the traditional R&B version of it, and then you have this club house mix situation, and it's almost like it's a whole different song altogether, which is good because as artists we try to reinvent ourselves and we try to give our fans something new, right? So I felt like that was a good way to do something new. And a lot of people say, it was like, yo, this really slaps. So I was like, well, I'm glad you liked it. Because this is one of those situations, I'm not sure. Mm-hmm. I'm just stepping out on a limb, but it was really good. And I was like, I can hear this at a holiday party, because around that time, people going to be partying anywhere. People going to have their holiday parties. You could even play it at your New Year's Eve party kind of thing. Mm-hmm. It's just, I try to envision where I can hear this song being played, that it would fit, So I was really happy with that as well.
And yeah, it came out really good. And I remember I even asked you, I'm like, did you have to re-sing the vocals, or was it the same vocals? And same vocals. So it was cool how they brought that energy out of the vocal and really made it
right.
Fit that vibe.
The only thing that we did was there are certain parts that we took out. So in this case, it was good, because in this particular situation, it's almost like you had too much material to work from. And it's always good to have too much than too little. So the only thing I had to do was, there were certain parts that sounded good in the original, but it didn't sound as good in the dance mix. So it's like we took those parts out and had one particular part repeated, and then just made it fit. And it came together, I think, beautifully.
Yeah, it really was. It was really well done.
It did. Yeah, it was that. So shout out to Anthony at Stronger Bond, because let me tell you, he mixes his face off.
Yeah.
When I tell you that man could mix.
So I know you said It's You was your first, and now you were on your third like official song, or my third or fourth?
Yeah. Well, right now I'm on my fourth because I had a song that came out in May 13th, which was I'm Ready, which is, you know, back to the R&B roots. And that one was kind of fun because, you know, just what I've noticed is songs that are, I don't want to say insignificant, but there's the songs that you write that are like fun, right? So they like come easier. And then there are the songs that go a little deep and they're harder to write for obvious reasons, you know, vulnerability and all that. I feel like I'm Ready was such a fun song. It was I was walking to the train station on my way to work, and I was just listening to the track on my way, and then it just came to me. So I pulled out my phone, my voice notes, and started singing. So you can see me like singing in the streets, because I was like, let me get this now, because by the time I get to work, I will forget. Mm-hmm. So I was like, let me just jot this down. And then when I came home, I was like, okay, so what can I say? So that's when the oh na 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 na. That's what I got first, right? So it's like I got the chorus first. I was like, okay, I got that. So so what are we gonna say? So I was like, okay, so this is your regular R&B song talking about love, talking about, adult situations. So I was like, okay, so let's put a concept together. It was like everybody could relate to that one time they had like a little fling coming over and they were a little excited. So, and then, I'm not too proud to say sometimes you get too excited to be like, you're like, yo, where you at? Because you excited, right? Mm-hmm. So that's why the first line says, I've been waiting for your call. You better be on your way, because and there's some things that weren't said in the song because it's like leave it up to your imagination, kind of thing. Yeah. So it's like, just imagine you're talking, texting, whatever, all day, and you're talking that stuff.
That
right?
That grown folk talk, yes, sir.
you talking that talk, right? And now you got me all excited. So it's almost like I'm ready for you to show me all that stuff.
Mm-hmm. Back up what you said. Right. Let's come on.
Yeah. So that's pretty much what the song is about, right? Mm-hmm. And then there was a part where it just made sense, and I referenced the R&B group Silk, and they have a song, I think it's called "Freak You" or "Freak Me," and they had the part, I wanna lick you up and down. Mm-hmm. So I was like, a lot of people know that because it's like, yeah, and it just made sense. It just made sense, and I got excited because it's like, this is what real people go through. You know what I mean? In a fun way.
Yeah. So would you say that's how you typically approach writing a song, or like is that one kind of different? Like, how do you usually go about it? Is it similar?
Well, usually the chorus comes first, the chorus comes first. It goes based on the feeling too, So, like originally when I started listening to the track, I was trying to write a different kind of song, but it just wasn't clicking, So I was like, you know what? Let me just relax and not be too serious, and just let whatever. So a lot of people do this too, where they mumble through it.
Yeah.
So it's like yeah. So right. So that's part of it too. So when I heard like the basic, so okay, let me record that because that might be helpful later, and then sometimes with music could be so interesting and a little finicky these days. It's like you want to keep the attention span of your listener. So, you don't want to put too much, because I have an issue where sometimes my material can get too wordy.
Yeah.
Right.
Same.
So it's like, okay, I don't want to bore you. And then you want them to sing along or something that they can sing along too. So it's like, I got to think about that. So I was like, oh, nah. You can't really get any more simple than, oh,
That's right.
nah. It gets stuck, so then I go, okay, now that we have a kind of basis, now what's the topic going to be? And so that's usually my process for the most part. Every now and then it might change. Sometimes if I already have a concept, like if I have something I want to talk about, then a verse might come first, because I look at a song as being a conversation, right?
Right.
So I'm Ready was actually done a little different than my latest single, What Now? Triggered. Because whereas I'm Ready, the hook,
which just came out this week.
Yes.
Last week when it's aired. This week.
Yeah, because this week would be a full week. So where I'm Ready was like, you got your hook, you got your chorus, and then you go back and figure out what you want to talk about. I'm Ready was, What Now was almost like, I kind of know what I'm going to talk about. Because I had this loop playing in the background, and it was like, I could turn this into a breakup song. This could be a breakup song, So I already kind of had, and it came a little bit from personal experience as well, which all musicians can relate, where even if you're not singing about something that happened to you personally, you either wrote about something that you witnessed or somebody else went through, So it's like, okay. And the first few words that came to me was, what do we do now? And then you kind of envision, okay, this is a conversation between two people, right? Mm-hmm. And like, think about it this way: you've been together for like a good few years, like to the point. This is one of those relationships where you've been in it so long, you're thinking about, okay, what's our next step as a couple, right? But then all of a sudden, you got one person in the relationship being like, yeah, I don't think I can do this anymore. You know what I mean? So now you start like, are you serious? So that's the whole feeling of the song. Like, you've got to be kidding me. We've been together for this many years. Like, at what point did you know, or did you feel like you didn't want to do this?
Right.
So then you think about the conversation or the argument, like, okay, so what about all the stuff that we talked about? All the stuff that we wanted to do together? What happens to all of that? Like, it's a question that you ask, but it's like more of a question to the other person. Like, do you see how much of a waste this is? So
I get you.
So for that, that's how that song came, because I already had the topic. I kind of already knew what I wanted to talk about, But then, then coming up with what the chorus was going to be, the chorus took like 2 transformations, because at first, again, it was going to be really wordy, but it was going to have something at the end that would be catchy. So then when we got to the studio, I told the engineer, I was like, okay, so here's what I got. And here's another thing. Whether you record yourself or you go somewhere, like, even if you have, and I feel like if I heard someone say this before, even if you have like a little bit, start working on it and everything else will come together. Because believe it or not, I started working on What Now, when I look at the date, back in April of this year. Okay. And I've just been sitting on a verse and a pre-chorus this entire time. And I was like, you know what? let me just get this out. Let me just get it out. If anything, I'll write what needs to be written, as it goes along, as we put it together. So leading up to this session, I started just writing down general stuff as if I was having a conversation with someone else, right? And then I was like, okay, we get to the studio, we start putting the beat together. And I was like, wow, this is amazing. This is actually taking a lot. It's coming together a lot quicker than I anticipated it, because I only came with a loop that I got from the Logic software that I use, and whatever I had written, whatever I had for reference. So as he started putting the music together, I was like, okay, so this very wordy chorus is now going to become a second verse. And that part that I had, that if you've heard it yet, that part that's repetitious, I was like, I'm going to just make that the chorus and call it a day. It's something that people would remember after they finish listening to it.
Right. Yeah. And then, so one thing you said was, and I don't know if this was intentional or not, but you said the chorus, and then you said the hook. You said them as two separate things. Was that intentional, or was that because depending on who you ask and how you look at it, those can be two different things?
Yeah, because the original chorus became the second verse, because I realized that when we were putting the instrumentals and stuff together, it would not have worked because it was too wordy. I was like, okay.
Actually, I think you said that when you were talking about one of your first two songs, when you said the chorus and the hook thing. It just kind of was in my head to bring back up.
Yeah, because it's like, but it's good to have. Again, it's good to have like more material than not, because then you can pull and maneuver and put stuff different places where it would fit, And I've tried to get into that habit, because sometimes I would start a song and then I would get to a certain point and then don't know where to go after, right? So then, based on what the song is, I'll just keep writing down ideas, right? So that when it comes to putting it all together, then at some way, somehow, all that little bit of source material becomes relevant at some point,
right?
So we got the track to a place where we can start a demo. So we started singing through, and we said, okay, and then whatever the chorus, the second verse now, I just expanded, added a little, 2 more lines to it to make it a full chorus. But then we're thinking about the end now. So I was like, okay. And he was like, yeah, so you should write a bridge. And I'm like, okay, I haven't gotten that far yet. So I was like, okay, bridge. What do we do? Again, what do I say? So we even had like a conversation. Okay, so the first verse, you're voicing your frustrations, all right? In the second verse, you're still angry, but you're coming to the realization, I'm pissed, but it's like there's really nothing I can do about the situation. I kind of wish I wasn't in this situation, but here we are, So then the bridge would kind of bring it all in, because now you're looking for, what's the resolution? That's the word he used. So it was like, so now you got to bring the song to a resolution. So as he was working on the track and tightening it up, then I heard the bridge come in, because I knew it kind of had to be big as well, because of the way how the track was set up and everything. It had to be big. So I was like, well, I guess I'm going to move on now. There's like the stuff that I thought we had. Clearly, I was wrong, but I'll be fine. I'll be okay.
Yeah.
But you got me but you got me triggered.
Right.
and you could take out triggered with, and you could put in whatever.
Messed up.
You got me.
Other stuff on
You
me.
got
Yeah.
me. Yeah.
And the reason I bring up the hook versus the chorus kind of question is talking with Wilko, who again twice he's missed this interview, but
damn it.
Some people view the hook and the chorus as the same thing, and other people view the hook as whatever it is that you listen to that gets stuck in your head, and the chorus is just the part that repeats, right? So some people say the hook can be like maybe there's one line that you say at the end of all your verses that's always memorable, and that's the hook,
right?
And then the chorus is the part that repeats throughout the song. So I'm always interested in the way people look at it, or they can be one and the same, or they can be two different things.
Okay, yeah, because I've also had that question, and like when you listen to like I guess my opinion of a hook would be like what you said. It's that thing that's catchy, and it's usually repeated. So it's either like one word or something, but it's short. Some choruses have more words. And then in this situation, in this particular song, the way how I labeled it, it's like you have the first verse, the pre-hook. I feel like they could be one of the same. The pre-hook or the pre-chorus. So that's like something that happens before the chorus or the hook. You know what I mean? So that's how this song was structured. So I feel like the hook and the chorus can be, and I'm sure the music gurus out there can correct us and enlighten us on what it is, but I feel like they could be the same.
Yeah,
they're kind of the same because it's something that happens more than once in the song.
I think most people would agree that they can be the same thing. I think people also say that like they can be, but they don't have to be. It's pretty much what that comes back to.
Yeah. Yeah, it's like one of those terms, chorus, hook. Yeah.
Yeah, definitely like, people have different definitions, use them interchangeably type of thing.
Yeah.
Another thing you said that I definitely I feel on a personal level is sometimes you can be too wordy, because I am the rapper that was at one point known for over rapping. So everything from a young Origin that you would hear would just be lyrical miracle for the whole first verse. The chorus would be another. It would be the chorus. It would be repeated, but I'm just still rapping, just straight rapping straight through. Maybe a little slower or just with a different type of energy.
Right.
Second verse, rapidy rap all the way through. Bring that hook back in. If I got a bridge, so rapidy rap bridge. Third verse, rapidy rap all the way through. And so I guess people would listen, and already at the time the quality wasn't great. So now they're just listening to me just rap their ears off for three verses, 3 hooks, a bridge, intro, and an outro, just straight bars for 4 minutes, which definitely, I guess, get tedious to a listener, because they want to listen to music, right? Like
Right. So, and now that you mentioned that, it's like, okay, so rapping versus singing. So I think the concepts are the same, right? As far as, like, if you listen to if you have to be original, but if you listen to your favorite artist, right? Or whoever you consider to be the greatest rapper, it's almost like you have to think along the same lines because you like them for a reason. You understood everything that they were saying. It was rhythmically pleasing to the ear, which made, and I feel like, okay, so I've heard a lot of music, especially from independent artist that is a little hard to listen to. And it's hard to listen to because as someone that understands, like, if you have a basic understanding of how music works, and you listen to music a certain way, right? So it's like, is it melodic? Then if the melody is off, it's hard to listen to the words, right? And then if it's too wordy, then you have chaos.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? So it's almost like sometimes simple is good. There's some people that like the guys that can rap really quick but make it so cool, like the Twisters and the Eminems and the Busta Rhymes and
Tech Nine.
All those people that can rap quick, but it's like I know they use this word a lot when it comes to rapping, but like cadences.
Mm-hmm.
And like and I know with the R&B world, we kind of dipped in with this new age R&B. We kind of dipped into that kind of thing where it's not, you're not singing. So it's almost like you're rapping certain parts, but it's like very on the beat and it's very like, it has to be within this space. Yeah. And I've heard so many people, like, when it comes to the over singing or over rapping, like too much words. It's like, I understand you got a lot to say. But then you gotta craft it in such a way that it fits the beat that you're singing to. Because it's like you can't fit 10 words. You can't fit all the words in one. And if you only got 8 bars, you can't put all that in there.
You gotta make it work, right?
You got right. Rephrase it, make it fit. Yeah. Make it fit, but still make it make sense to what you want us to get from it. You know what I mean? That's how
I definitely struggle with a lot.
Yeah, and like I remember when it comes to the singing side of it, like my dad would always tell me, I was like, listen, anybody can sound good. Anybody could sound good, but do you understand the words that you're singing? And this is in reference to, singing other people's work,
Mm-hmm.
I was like, do you understand what you're singing? And then, of course, you have to think about the listener. And it's harder when it's somebody, if it's a popular song, like if I get up there and sing a Luther Vandross song, people are going to be like, okay, Luther Vandross, so this person, could really sing, that kind of thing. And then if I get up there and do foolishness, it's like...
Yeah. That goes right. There's certain artists that you don't touch, but then there are certain artists that you don't, unless you are on that level, you don't do it at all.
Don't do it.
Like you can, they're not off limits, but they are only to be addressed by a certain crowd, a certain few people.
And guess what? This is for the singers too, because I've heard some people definitely oversing, and the riffs and the runs sound real good, but the song doesn't call for that.
Yeah, it's too much.
It's great that you can do that. So there's nothing against people that can do all the vocal acrobatics. Nothing wrong with that. But does the song call for that, or you do it in a way where it still gets the message across and still gives that person the overall feeling? So I feel like a lot of people out there, and this is a question that I've asked myself, so I wonder, why do some people get into music? Is it because they feel it could be like a quick thing where they can get famous because somebody told them they were that good? Or do you really understand, do you really have a passion for music? Right. And the way it makes you feel? Because if it's one thing I want people to take away from any of my music is, one, I consider myself R&B, especially 90s, early 2000s. That's where I live, and I own that. But if you hear my music I want, and people have said this where it reminds you of a time.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Because that means it made you feel something. It made you feel something. Whether it reminded you of another song or a song from that era, or even if it reminded you of a personal whatever, right?
Mm-hmm.
I want my music to do that. I want my music to be understood. So I feel like if I would stick to the storytelling of it, like make it a story, make it relatable, make it fun to listen to, stuff like that, because that's important to music.
Right.
You don't want to just hop on a beat and spit a few lines and you think you did something. And I was like, okay. I've listened to so many songs where it's like, okay, this song had potential. Even rap. And I'll tell you, I don't really listen to rap, but rap is music.
Mm-hmm.
Right? So it's the same thing. If I'm listening to rap, perfect example. So you have a song that usually gets stuck in my head every time I hear it.
I don't know where this is going, so
no, it's good because it's what's
up?
looking for the come and you see even that, like I'm already like and the thing is like my ear, I can listen to anything on the list, but there's certain songs that would stand out because it makes you feel something.
Mm-hmm.
Right? And when it comes to rapping too, I like the rap songs that have some sort of a message in it. Everything has its place. I just like what I like because I don't want to claim to be, into something that I'm not. Stay true to me. So there's certain people that
Ooh. So stay true to you. Yeah.
Stay
that might
true.
went over stay true to you.
Let me say it again then. Stay true to, I gotta stay true to me, because because I know a lot of people get a little touchy. It was like, oh, you don't listen to what nothing's wrong with it. Nothing's wrong with it. I just have to do it within my own little parameters because it just makes sense. It just makes sense. It's normal. I'm not gangster. I'm not street. I'm not any of that. So I won't pretend to be. But there's some songs that it resonate. You know what I mean?
Yes, sir.
So, and there's this other artist that I listen to, and like he's more, well, says it in the name, modern poet, and his raps pretty much do that. It's poetry to rhythm, and then he says so much deep stuff that I can relate to, and it's like, see, this is what I'm talking about, because this is something you have to listen to it. And I feel like a lot of people, I don't know how people listen to music, but are we actually listening? Are we listening to music anymore?
We're listening to instrumentals. The words and the message are secondary at this point. And that's a thing that you have to navigate as an artist who actually cares about what they're saying.
Right. So, and I get it. Some people, I don't know, maybe some people don't want to be in touch with their feelings all the time. But sometimes you have to, sometimes you have to listen to music that makes you stop and think.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And maybe if that particular song is for you, that means it was probably about you. I don't know. There's that too.
Listen, it fits where you are, but so obviously you have a deep love for music and a deep understanding of music. Mm-hmm. So for you, like what's your pinnacle? Like what do you hope to achieve with your music? Like where do you want to go? How big do you want to get? What's the goal?
I feel like if I'm still figuring that out, but I definitely want to continue. I would love to hear my music on the radio. I'll tell you that. Mm-hmm. As far as the being famous, I don't care too much about that. I just want to write good quality music that people could sit and think to, and people could enjoy. Maybe every now and then dance to. It doesn't always have to be, lovey-dovey or doom and gloom. Just good quality music that people could enjoy. I want to leave a mark that once I'm gone, people could say, that boy, that Kyle guy, he put some good music out there. He put some good stuff out there. I mean, in like I hear in so many posts, oh, R&B is not dead and this and that and the third. I was like, we say it, and a lot of people out there think it, but do we really? How many people actually care? Because it feels like the masses want this, but they're saying, on one hand, what happened to this? You remember when R&B, the guys used to, sing in the rain, people, yeah, but do you really want that? Is that something that is still appreciated?
I don't think it is, honestly. I think the artists that do it are the people that are still championing it, honestly. I think there's a fan base for it, but I don't think it's everybody that's saying how much you just said, right? I think it's certain people that still want it, still listen to it. I don't even know if they're looking for new music to add to that catalog of songs that fit that criteria, or if they just like what they liked and that's what they want, and then they want
because does it stay with? So if you say, oh, people don't do that anymore, then is it going to stay with the Boys to Men's? Is it going to stay with the Brian McKnights? Is it going to stay with the Kelly Prices, the Whitney Houstons? Is it going to stay with, is it going to stay with those guys? Is it okay if someone in 2022 comes along and says, hey, let's kind of make this a thing again? I remember when somebody messaged me and they would say, hey, I was listening to a bunch of songs and I guess I'm Ready was in the mix of it. And he said he was just listening to music while he was doing work. And then my song came on and it's like he had to stop what he was doing and replay it. And I'm like, wow. So that means that this kind of music is still appreciated.
Mm-hmm.
And what term I heard? A lot of people just want to vibe now.
Yeah,
that's what I heard
about it. They don't want to have to get too involved with it. They just want to let it play and feel a certain way based on.
So as long as it's a vibe.
Yeah.
But hey, I don't know.
I mean, it is what it is, and I feel like as an R&B artist, which I'm not, but I used to want to be. So I don't know. As an R&B artist, like it's a thing of making that type of R&B modernized, but then it's like, what does the modernization of it do to it, right? Like, does that modernization automatically devalue it or water it down, which might be the case. I don't know, because a lot of 2022, everything is watered down and devalued, but I'm sure there's a middle ground. There's and then whoever hits that middle ground is who's going to blow with that time, honestly.
Yeah, because I feel like, I guess one way, because like I'm Ready, I think it's modern as far as the beat is concerned, because the beat is kind of like that R&B, and it gives you like that R&B trap kind of thing. So I think that's like the modern aspect. But as far as the way how the song is put together, it's still of that time. Yeah, the 90s. So I mean, that could be one way you can modernize it. But I tried to like listen to Tank and just to see how he does it, because he seemed to be pretty successful staying current as far as our R&B is concerned. But it's possible. I guess we just got to figure out.
They're the artists that are still holding on. You say Tank, Chris Brown. He's doing his real R&B versus him being more of a rapper type. Chris Brown, Usher, and Trey songs. Like they keep a community for R&B alive, I would say.
Yeah.
But yeah, actually, speaking of Chris Brown, when I listened to "It's You," right, and you know how you said you wanted like your song to be able to give you that kind of like nostalgia, remind you of something.
Okay. Okay.
So you know Chris Brown's version of "This Christmas" or
This Christmas. Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
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 There's like a part in that song that when you sing
Uh-huh.
how and what you sing, it reminds me of Chris Brown's version of "This Christmas,"
Yeah.
and I think that's a really dope thing.
I'll
So
tell you.
you're doing
Okay.
what you're setting out to do.
Yeah. And you know what's interesting? Because I always like to hear what other people got from it. And it just goes to show that I am so heavily influenced by that sort of music that it comes out effortlessly in the things I do. And there's a lot of songs that I didn't even know was wrapped up in that one song. Because, okay, so you mentioned the
Yep.
Chris Brown, This Christmas version. I was playing the chorus. Well, the chorus was playing in the background, and one of my friends heard it and says, "You know that song? You know what that part reminds me of?" And I don't know if you're familiar. There was this girl group back in the day called Brownstone. If you know or don't know about them, don't worry about it. You can Google it afterwards. But
It
when I
depends
tell
on the
you,
song. It depends on the song. To be honest with you, bro.
well,
Yeah.
there's two songs that they had that were pretty popular, and it's Grapevine, and Tory Lanez actually sampled one of their songs in his song. You can do more than just say it. Right. Right. So Brownstone. So look them up. Their harmonies are strong. So when that part, I'll sit here with you, your love will be a thing true. It's you. It kind of sounded like I heard through the grapevine that you weren't doing too fine. So I hope that you feel much better. Yes, I do. I was like, oh, okay, I get it.
Mm.
I didn't hear it when I sang it, but like it took somebody else to say, "Yo, that sounded like that," and I was like, "Ah." And then, may he rest in peace. We just lost another great one a few days ago. Jesse Powell. He had a song called "You," and again, you don't know the influences until you sit back and listen to your to the material, and you see how much of these outside influences influence your own work. Because the way how his song goes, "Baby, it's you," and then "Here I Come," I was like, "Oh wait, that kind of." But only looking back at it, I was like, wow, all of these different artists from that time are all like wrapped up in this one song.
Yeah.
And it's crazy.
So who would you say your top influences are?
Well, I've always been a Drew Hill fan. Drew Hill is my number one. I don't know. There are a lot of great groups out there, but sitting at the top, number one spot is Drew Hill. I love their harmonies. Their harmonies to me are so clean and so ridiculous. And what's interesting is like some of my favorite songs aren't even the popular songs. It's like other songs just because it showcases their vocal ability so well.
Yeah.
Right. So we know we know the Tell Me's, we know the Five Steps, we know all those popular ones that they play on the radio. But there's some other songs in there where I do this thing where I also listen to the instrumentals, but I listen to it as it relates to what's going on in like the background.
Yeah.
Because there's one particular song, "What Do I Do With the Love," off of their second album as a group, and I'm listening to like background vocals. And when I tell you, when you listen to people and you just say, yo, them boys singing.
Yeah.
Like them boys, them boys is singing.
Mm-hmm.
It's ridiculous. So I've always
singers and rappers. Yep.
yeah, it's like, yo, like, and it's like, did you hear that?
So it's like whenever, calm down. Hold on, wait. What did you just do right there? Like, how was that even okay? Like, who allowed you to go that hard on that? Yeah,
like that is not fair. Like, cause now you're like, okay. But that's the stuff that I enjoy. And that's how you should be when you listen to music. And I know everybody listens to music differently, right?
Yeah.
And that's fine. But it's like all of these little nuances were necessary, because from the guitar, from the drum, from the piano, to the background vocals, they all played a part so well, and they were so evenly distributed throughout the song that it gave you a story, it gave you a beginning, a middle, and a conclusion. You know what I mean? And you were there for the entire ride.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it's like wow. But yeah, Boys to Men, of course, they're up there too, in number 2 spot. People might argue with that. I don't care. You have your opinions.
Is your influence.
This is, you asked me. But yeah, as far as soloists, Usher, I like the way he has been able to maintain his gift, because a lot of people, you can't really, they've fallen off, life happens, stuff like that. But I feel like as an artist, he's been able to maintain his gift so well for so long that I think he would be singing phenomenally for years to come.
Yeah.
Whether we like the songs or not, the fact of the matter is his voice, his vocal quality will be the same, knock on wood. So I think he has already fit into that timeless music realm.
Yeah.
But I think even further down the road, I feel we will still be talking about Usher. Tank is an amazing musician and vocalist as well. I haven't heard much from Brian McKnight, but Brian McKnights of the world, I feel like artists like that don't even have to do anything. Mm-hmm. I feel like they've reached a point now, but they've set a standard.
Yeah.
They've set such a standard. And it's a standard that a lot of us try to reach or to maintain, which is a good thing, But yeah, those are the guys that, for me, when it comes to male singers, there's more.
Well, we got 5.
But we got 5.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I think, because when it comes to I try to find folks as well that I am close to, so I'll never try to sing like a Brian McKnight. Maybe I can pull off a Usher on a real good day, but I try to stick with people. That's why Drew Hill is my biggest, because I feel like when it comes to my voice and my range, I think they're the closest.
Mm-hmm. So
anything I do would be with that mind frame. I'll still be me, but they're like almost like the blueprint of like, okay, I need to stay in between these lines. I can't go any higher. I got to stay right, kind of in moderation, but this is where it can go,
Yes, sir. So you mentioned it already. You touched on it in the beginning, but so how did you originally find New Artist Spotlight? I know that's everybody has a different way they actually connected.
Was it Elion Melody? I met him, I want to call it 2 or 3 years ago. And, I started following his music. I noticed that we go to the same studio to record our music. Mm-hmm. And when I started following him on Spotify and looking up his work, I noticed, this, New Artist Spotlight keep popping up frequently. And I've always wanted to ask, but I was like, But for some reason this year, it stood out a lot for whatever reason. So then I decided to ask. I was like, hey, I noticed that you do a lot with the New Artist Spotlight. Tell me a little bit about it, such and such. How do I get set up? And he just, point me in the right direction. And it was history from there. I just like, okay. I looked into everything. I see what you guys were about. And I was like, oh, cool. So then that's when I started. I want to say it was like, what? It was probably late May because my single was already out. I'm Ready was already out before I joined. So it was probably late May, early June of this year when I started.
Cool.
Yeah.
So what are we gonna play today? You got hit after hit after hit. What do you want
I got so much. I don't know. You know what? I feel that just because we released a new song, we could play that one. So we could play What Now?
What Now?
Let's play the new one. What Now? Triggered.
What Now? Triggered. This is not Janae Aiko. This is Kyle M Watson.
This is yes.
Tune in. Please do the introduction.
All right. So like I said before, this is one of those songs where you've been with your significant other for a long time, and then all of a sudden they want to pull the plug. And then instead of saying WTF, you ask them what now? Because you're feeling triggered. This is my next song. What Now? Triggered.
What do we do now? Now that it's over, I need some closure. How do I handle the pain? This time invested, it's time now wasted. It's time now wasted. How do we just walk away? What do we do with all the dreams and all the things we said we'd build together? Or was it just a lie when you said that we'd be forever? You got me feeling triggered, 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 triggered. Oh, triggered, 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 triggered. You got me feeling triggered, 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 triggered. Whoa, triggered, 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 triggered. You got me feeling. Where do we go from here? And how do we move on from this? I just wanna go back in time and act like you did not exist. Cause it's feeling like this ship has sailed. What do we do with all the dreams and all the things we said we'd build together? Or was it just a lie when you said that we'd be forever? You got me feeling triggered, 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 triggered. Oh, triggered, 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 triggered. You got me feeling triggered, 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 triggered. Oh, triggered, 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 triggered. You got me feeling. I guess I'm moving on. I thought our love was strong. I guess that I was wrong. There's nothing left to say. Not begging you to stay. I'm gonna be okay. You got me feeling triggered, 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 triggered. You sold me too many lies. Triggered, triggered, triggered. You got me feeling triggered, triggered. I'm triggered, triggered on this. I can make triggered, triggered. I can make triggered. I won't hold you, so you're free to go.
Man, great song. You heard it here. Hopefully you didn't hear it here first. I've heard it twice today already. So I'm listening to it in the shower. So listen, thank you for letting us play that.
Yes, of course.
Really good song. Congratulations on the new release. Big
Thank you,
things
thank
for
you.
that song. Gotta be, needs to be. Yes, sir.
Needs to be.
Needs to be. Keyword need, not a want, not a hope. It's a
A need.
necessity.
So let's make this happen.
Come on. Come on. All right. So I know you're riding on the high from us just listening to that song, but now it's time to get serious.
All
It's
right.
time for the dreaded, the feared, the respected new artist spotlight, quick fire 5. Are you ready?
Sure.
Now, we've done this one time before. We're not going to talk about the results because it doesn't count. But
Nope.
the rules are 5 questions, no more than 15 seconds per question, no more than 15 seconds per question, no more than 15 seconds per question.
Mm-hmm.
And we're just going to start.
Okay.
What is your favorite song off the New Artist Spotlight playlist?
Right now, it would have to be Cloud 11 by Elion Melody.
Oh,
It's fairly new.
it's fairly new, and your answer is different than last time, which I'm not going to complain about, and that'll just be a secret, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
What is your favorite song of all time?
Favorite song of all time would have to be 5 Steps by Drew Hill. Yeah.
And if you could have the same voice of any other artist on the planet, who would it be?
Ooh. P-Bo Bryson.
P-Bo Bryson.
He has a voice of gold.
What song would you most like to be played at your funeral?
Seasons, a gospel song by Donna Lawrence.
And final question is, if you could spend a day with one other artist from New Artist Spotlight, who would it be?
Who would it be? Well, you. Why not?
Hey, I won this time. What? What
There you
did
go.
that?
There you go.
I won this time.
There you go. There you go.
Bonus question then. If you could spend a day with one artist from throughout history, living or dead, who would it be?
Luther Vandross, man. Yeah. I've always wanted to meet him, actually, whether it be a concert, but I never got that chance.
Yeah. But yo, this has been a good conversation, man.
Yes, I agree.
Yeah. We didn't get to touch on the choir days and the
that's fine.
Good conversation anyway, right?
Yeah.
So for anybody that doesn't already know, tell them where they can find you on socials, where they can find you on streaming.
Yeah. So I'm on all streaming platforms. I'm on Spotify, obviously, Apple Music, Amazon, Tidal, all of the streaming platforms. You can catch me on Instagram. I am Kyle Watson. You can catch me on Twitter. I am Kyle Watson. I keep it simple, real easy. And you can catch me on TikTok too. I might not be doing much on there, but I'm on there. So you can stop by and say hi.
Sweet. Well, like I said, it's been a great chat. Definitely gotta do it again. But I just want to send out a big thank you to everybody that has been helping and supporting the New Artist Spotlight community. As you hear, we have so much great things going on here. Thursday picks, top 20 countdown.
Yeah.
Man, everything that we do from social media, helping each other promote the I Want My NAS hashtag, all those things that we are doing to help other artists grow and develop. So everybody that is getting us on the radio, everybody that is doing write-ups on us, everything that goes into it that doesn't have to be done, but it's still being done. We appreciate you guys. And we'll catch you next week. Peace.
New artist spot.